What's up everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to unlock the dragon form in Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. The dragon form comes from completing the Dragon Communion Priestess questline. This is a fairly quick quest chain that can all be completed in one location. It doesn't require you to progress really deep into the story, and it has a lot of really good rewards such as the dragon form, some dragon spells, and a bunch of dragon smithing stones. And when we talk about dragon form, it's this item here, the Dragon Priestess's Heart. This is a consumable that can be used repeatedly, and it basically turns us into a dragon. You can put it on your bar, take off your armor, and just use it, and turn into this really cool dragon form. And this isn't just some like 5-second, 10-second buff or like a spell animation. This is a permanent dragon form. You turn into this dragon until you fall in battle. And then when you respawn, you can choose if you want to turn back into it again. It's got infinite use. And while you're in this dragon form, it empowers your dragon abilities, and it seems like you have some increased resistance as an armor. You don't just get like one shot like you would expect. So yeah, this is one of the coolest items you can get in the DLC. It's really, really fun. So let's get straight into where to start the quests and how to complete them as fast and easy as possible. So this whole quest chain begins at the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion with the Dragon Priestess. And to get here, it's really not that difficult. The only challenge is you have to pass through a dungeon, but we can talk about that. So you start at the 3-path cross. That's kind of like early game. You want to head over the Great Bridge here and get to the castle front. From here, head down through these trees on the windy little path here until you hit the dungeon. Now, on the way, you're going to find these dragon statues, and you're going to be invaded by a red dragon man character. You want to defeat him, and you may also find an NPC lying around here that has a little bit of dialogue you can exhaust. But yeah, then eventually you'll hit this dungeon, and you need to pass through it. Now, the dragon pit itself is fairly okay. There is one kind of tough monster in here, this big Drake salamander type thing. If you've got a melee build and it's a bit, not end game ready, it's a bit of a tough fight, but generally you should be okay. If you're magic, you'll probably delete it in like 2 spells. But yeah, eventually pass through this dungeon. It's kind of linear, and you'll get to a place where you feel like you can't progress any further. And there's like this big hole. You'll notice it because there's candles everywhere. You can see something on the other side, and there's like this big walled off area. And this there's nothing here. It looks like you've got to the end of the dungeon and there's nowhere else to go. The only way down is down. You just got to jump down. You jump down this hole, and you'll land safely, thankfully. And once you get to the bottom, you'll be right in front of the boss door. And now you fight the ancient dragon man, the true form. There's nothing too tricky here. It was a pretty standard fight. He took quite a lot of damage from melee, especially from bleed, so hopefully he'll be okay here. But yeah, once you beat him, he drops a really cool new weapon, the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. This is phenomenal, and we're going to be hunting a lot of dragons, so if you can use it, it's a pretty good one to switch over to. So yeah, once you beat him, you'll come out of the other side, on the other side here, at a place called Dragon Pit Terminus. This is the exit to the dungeon, and now you just go to this middle lake here and south. So yeah, if you don't even have the map unlocked, you just head to the lake, turn right, and go south. Now, once you get here, you will find the Dragon Priestess, and you have to say you will devour the draconic power. That's basically accepting their quest and saying that you will go and take on the dragons and take their power. You have to go and find Bayle, the greatest, oldest, vilest of all dragons, and defeat them. And along the way, you will fight many, many other dragons, one of which is a real stinker. But yeah, that's the quest. You got to fight loads of dragons until you get to the final dragon and defeat them. And behind there's this red essence glowing as well. You can go over to this and interact with it, and you can exchange dragon hearts here for dragon powers. And you can also exchange the heart of Bayle, which is the final dragon we're going for one of his 2 really, really powerful incantations, which actually scale with arcane, which is incredible if you play a bleed, a frost, some sort of arcane build. That's really fun. So yeah, that's the big rewards other than the big dragon form. Okay, so now we want to head to a character called Igon, and that's a part of the quest kind of, and it's also someone who will help us in the final fight. So head north from this starting of the quest back to this lake. There's a dragon here. You can take on this dragon, get a ton of rewards, and follow it round to here, the foot of the Jagged Peak, which is your next site of grace. And here there are 2 dragons fighting each other. You can let them get low and then join in, or you can fight them yourself. Eventually, once you beat them, you go here to Igon, and you can't miss it. It's kind of like where the valley goes from this big open area where the dragons are fighting to a closed area. Now, with the dragons, honestly, the best tactic is to do this. It's just to do this. Just mount up so you can get away if you need to, and just let them fight. Just let them break each other down a little bit. They're 2 big, chunky dragons. They share the same health pool, I believe, at the bottom, and you've got to beat them both. So you can let them get low and join in, or you can just go straight in and start chipping down one of them. But yeah, either way, you got to defeat these 2 dragons. It felt like a fairly easy fight to me because they were constantly distracted with each other. But if they do turn on you at the same time, I imagine that would get really difficult. If you're a sorcerer or you've got ranged abilities, I would just stay back and just chip away at one of them, chip away at the winner, so that when they win, you have less to do. But I was a melee, so I just went in and got involved. But yeah, beat these 2 dragons. And then, yeah, as you go on to the next zone, as you leave this area, you'll find Igon. Igon. And they are telling you that they were a dragon hunter. They want to face Bayle the Dread, and they want to help you do it. So they ask you to summon them. There is some really tricky things to summon this guy, which I'll talk about when we get to the final fight. But yeah, this guy just wants to help you fight the dragon. And I can't think of any reason not to accept his help. It was actually really helpful, and you get good rewards for doing it. So take his finger, his furled finger. But yeah, if you're struggling to find him, he's literally right here at the end of this crevice as it funnels down up into this big what you call these things that boost you into the air. He's right in front of that. So yeah, once you've got the finger, head into this, and you just want to keep following these big jumps all the way to the end. Just keep following these big jumps. It's a 1-track valley all the way there. This 1-track path all the way to the next boss. And as you start coming up this path, you're going to get to the big rolling stones. Just avoid those. Again, it's fairly straight path, narrow path, and you're going to come to an optional dragon boss. And this guy, as a melee, this guy was awful. This was the hardest fight for me out of everything here. So do be prepared for this. He's a big electric dragon, kind of as this opens up into this big area. And the best tip I can give you for this is good luck. No. I had a friend who had magic, and they did this on their first go. They just one-shot it by keeping it at range. All its damage is under it. All its damage is on its front 2 legs, and it's big, massive AoE lightning damage. One of the easiest ways if you're a pure melee with no magic is just attack its back legs, stay mounted, attack its back legs, and attack its tail. And when you see these big AoEs, get out of them, just right away. And if you're having too much difficulty, if you physically can't do it, this is an optional boss. You can still go and fight Bayle at the end, the final boss. You can get every single reward without fighting this guy. You just won't get the rewards for beating him. So yeah, that's the optional boss. Now continue heading up the mountain, and you'll keep going past all these dragon skeletons, and you wanna keep pressing further up this path. There's these big jump things again. You want to keep going into those and just keep pressing forward. It's very linear. I don't need to show you the route. It's very much there's only one way to go, and it's just deeper and deeper towards Bayle, the final dragon. As you go up this final big jump here, this final big lift into the air, you'll see the sign of the grace point right in front of it. You want to grab this. This is your respawn, because you're probably going to need it. This last fight is crazy. It's really fun. It was a really fun fight, but it's very chaotic. Now, a really big tip here is when you were told to summon Igon, right? And you're looking for Igon. His sign is not outside the boss thing like it normally is. It's normally in front of the yellow door. It isn't. You have to go through, and it's right here at the entrance, which is annoying, because the second you walk in, Bayle blasts you with magic. So yeah, you've got to go in, carefully get this guy summoned, and it's so epic. This guy is just like shouting anime lines the whole way through. He's like, "I, Igon, will defeat you." It's so funny. "I am the Drake Warrior." It's so good. But yeah, he'll be like commentating on the whole fight. But don't take this as a joke. This is a very hard fight. This is a rough one. My best advice if you're playing melee is get behind him. Don't stand here like this. Don't do what I'm doing here. Don't stand in his fire. Go behind him to his tail. I thought that leg was a weak point. It didn't seem to be. You go behind him to his tail and attack the back of his tail. And then when he like breathes fire directly under him, you won't be in it. That's how I beat this guy. But yeah, magic. Good luck. Buckle in. Dodge the fire. Yeah, this was my tip. Kind of get back here to where the tail is and just start chipping away at that. Eventually, he'll fall, and you get Bayle's heart. This is the item you need to redeem the spells. So to redeem the dragon shout abilities. So yeah, get the heart of Bayle. You'll let this guy have his final victory, and you're done. If you did summon Igon and you did his quest, like, well, you told him that you'd help, and you summoned him in the fight, and you let him have this big victory, go back to where Igon was at the funnel of this big dragon path, and you'll get his bow, some his ball bearing, and his outfit, which is cute. I thought this was a really good reward. And then go get the good stuff, the dragon form and the powers. So if you go back to the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion, where the dragon priestess was standing, you can go and loot the priestess's heart. And it's very easy to miss what this does. It took me a little while of having this before I was going through, the recent items, and realized it had a power. So yeah, definitely go and get that. And that's how you turn into the cool dragon form, and then go and communicate with this, and you can get your Dragon Communion power. You can get the Bayle's Tyranny to do the big dragon fire all around you, or you can get the Dragon Flame Lightning, where you can do this big dragon lightning attack. So yeah, that's all your rewards. I haven't seen any way to duplicate this. If you know of a way, let people know in the comments. I have only seen that you can get 1 Heart of Bayle, and I assume if you want to get another one, you have to go on New Game Plus. But, you know, with some bosses, you can duplicate their remembrances, and then you can go and get both rewards. I'm not sure how to do that. You know, the DLC's been out a day at the time of recording, so I haven't seen a way to do it yet, but maybe there's a way. Let people know if there is. But yeah, that's the big dragon priestess quest to get the dragon form and the dragon powers. I thought this was so much fun. It was incredible. One of the best parts of the DLC so far for me. I really hope this was helpful. I've tried to cover everything that I think is relevant to getting this quest done. But if there's anything I've missed, if there's anything that wasn't clear, do let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to answer. And if you have any other things that could help people on this quest line, do let them know down in the comments. But yeah, that's it from me. I really hope this has helped. I am covering a lot of, I'm going to be covering a lot of the Elden Ring DLC guides and tips and walkthroughs and stuff like that in this sort of style. So if you want to see more, do consider subscribing. I'm working on a guide for Count Mir right now, which is a big sorcery one, which unlocks loads of new sorcery abilities. So yeah, follow if you want to see that. But that's it from me. Take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.